Welcome everyone to our new technology stream. Today we will showcase a lot of cool new technologies that were released in the last couple of days. With me is some of the Labs team. So I welcome them. And I'm happy that you, the viewer, is also here too. So let's start right off and start with the first new technology that was released. This is a GitHub repository called GPT Engineer. And this is really cool because with a single prompt, you can generate entire code bases. This is really cool, and I prepared a small little showcase right here. So I cloned the repository, then I just entered a simple little prompt right here. So we are creating a snake game in Python, MVC components split in separate files with keyboard control. Then I ran the entire repo. And here you can see the output. So then this is using GPT-4 in the background. So it says I will create a snake game in Python. The game will have keyboard controls for snake movement. And then you can see all the different files that got generated right here. So a lot of different files, a lot of different stuff. Main function. And on the left side right here, you can see all the different files that got generated. So yes, this is really cool. So I've downloaded all the files to my system. And now we can just execute the main function. And then you can see that this works. I didn't make any changes to this code, so this works without doing anything. And yeah, it's working fine, so that's cool. And for example, if you run into the wall right here, the game will just exit and that's it. And this is super useful if you just want something as a starting point that you can then continue developing. So yeah, I can really recommend checking this out. Then to the next thing, Vercel released their own NPM package that makes it super easy to connect any AI text generation model to your application. So right here, you can see that you just install this package, and then you can basically use the streaming function of all these different models really easily in your application. In connection to this, Vercel also released this cool playground right here. You can enter a prompt and then select different models and then compare the output generation of these models. So right here, let's just take Bloom, for example, and GPT 3.5 Turbo. And let's say, let's do another code prompt Python Fibonacci. Let's run this. And there you can see that on the left side here is GPT 3.5 Turbo, and Bloom is doing some multilingual thing. Let's maybe try another model right here. Let's go with Flan T5. Let's maybe run the same stuff again. Right here, now you can see that this is also generating similar stuff to this. It's not as nicely formatted as on the left side, but that's fine. And this playground is just super useful if you want to compare different models before actually integrating them into your own application. Then let's hop to the next thing. It's a repository called AudioCraft, and AudioCraft is an implementation of a paper called MusicGen. And this is really cool because it lets you generate music from a single prompt. This was trained on 20,000 hours of licensed music. So yes, if you want to dive deeper into this topic, you can check out the GitHub repository. It's called AudioCraft. And I've also prepared a small demo for this. So right here, let's zoom in a little bit. You can just import these models, initialize them, and then you can call a small little function called model.generate. And right here, you can specify a prompt of the music that you want to generate. So right here, I've input lo-fi, slow, BPM, electro chill. You can also specify a duration of the generation. I tested different durations and it works best like below 1 minute. So there's still some improvement for future projects. But yeah, we can listen to this and I think the quality is really well. So it is what you would expect from a lo-fi track.
I don't think that we can hear it actually.
Oh, okay.
No, we cannot.
Okay, I will share this demo notebook and then everyone can check it out on their own and test different prompts. I bet you can come up with a lot of cool examples. Yeah, so that's really cool. Yeah. Then let's go to the next big thing, which is function calling for the OpenAI models. And basically what this does, it basically it basically can call different functions. So you give it a description of a function, and then the model chooses by itself which of these functions should be called, and then returns JSON with the function parameters, for example. So right here, you can then say stuff like send email, and then parameters like to and body with data types. And I have also prepared a small little demo for this, or this is from the OpenAI cookbook, which is really useful if you're working with OpenAI stuff. And right here, you can see that there's an array defined with two functions. The first is get current weather, and the second is get n day weather forecast. All these functions have a description and then parameters, and the parameters have always a type and some properties, like location, which is type string again, and a small description. And this just tells the model what this actually is used for. You also can set like the required parameters. And then you can just basically give these functions to the model. And this is a nice little example right here. So the user asks, what's the weather like today? Then you run this. And now the assistant asks back, sure, I can help you with that. Can you please provide me with your current location? And this is super useful because now you have this real conversation where the model basically is trying to get the specific parameter that it's looking for and that is needed for this specific function. So we basically add another user input to this messages array called, or saying, I'm in Glasgow, Scotland. We run this then again with all the previous messages also appended. And now the model knows which function to call. So yeah, it calls the function named get current weather with arguments, location, Glasgow, Scotland, and format Celsius. So this is really useful for stuff like agents and similar stuff. If you want to add something to your own application, this is also very useful. Okay, so Matthias, I can see that you're also here now.
Yes, and I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So, and how does it like? How does it execute the functions? So you define, like I did see you had a JSON there where you did you had a JSON there where you define kind of what it is. But where is the like? How does it execute the function itself?
So they basically don't execute the function. You just tell the model like what is the function about and then what are the properties. And then when you get back at the specific JSON, you can then see if a function gets called and then execute the function with the given parameters on your own. So they don't
So it
actually
doesn't
execute the function.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think that's just so you have full control over what is done there in the background, and you can also do very complex stuff there.
Yeah, but I mean, and then when you parse it, you execute your correlating function.
Yeah, exactly. Then you can just get your own function by this
Yeah.
name identifier and then execute the function on your own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very cool. But it's very similar to the agent stuff in LangChain.
Yeah, exactly.
If I understand correctly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but this really makes sure that there's always the specific JSON format returned, so there isn't any problem with like hallucinations and things like this. So yeah, I really recommend like checking this out. There are also some other API updates connected to this update. For example, we have the new 16,000 context of GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is really nice. Yes, and I think there's also like cost reduction for the embeddings model, which is also very nice. And also the 25% cost reduction for input tokens for GPT 3.5 Turbo. Yes, so great to see this. Okay, then let's hop over to the next topic. This is a paper from pixels to UI actions, learning to follow instructions via graphical user interfaces. And what this does is, for now, with, for example, these agents, we always used HTML. So we basically had a website, then we parsed the HTML of this website, and then passed the parsed HTML over to our large language model, which could then understand this website and maybe like also do some actions with this. And now this paper is a new approach to this. So we don't pass it HTML code anymore, but we can pass it like screenshots of websites. So you can see right here, this is like a training data set with a couple of really simple websites. And then what the model does is predict actions. For example, like click XY, begin drag, and drag, press a key or scroll. And there's a nice kind of step-by-step image right here. So you can see the task right here, select the following color, which is green, with the color picker and hit submit. So this right here is the first step. First, it clicks on this color picker right here. Then the color picker opens and the model clicks on the right color for a specific green tone. Then the model knows that it basically has to adjust the tone of green, so make it a little bit lighter. So it clicks right here. Then it clicked right here. So now we have to close the color picker again. So it clicks where there's nothing. And now at the end, it just clicks the submit button. And yeah, this is super nice for stuff like autonomous agents in the web, because a lot of times the HTML is way too big from bigger websites to actually pass them to a large language model with small context sizes. And yeah, this is just super useful. And I think there were some more images right here of like more complex websites. Or maybe it was in the GitHub repo. There's one connected to this. But I think overall this is like a super cool stuff for these autonomous agents. And yeah, maybe in the future they can just do all the web work for us instead of us actually clicking around and doing things there. We can just tell the model, okay, do this, and then these steps happen on its own, basically. Yeah, Matthias, what do you think of this?
Yes, yeah. Then we don't need the internet anymore. The way it is today. So
that's true.
yeah,
I guess, yeah. The internet will just be a knowledge base, basically, where then the agent goes through on its own and does things and retrieves information.
Yeah, probably a more visually appealing type of UI anyway. I really wonder what like the next or like what will be. It feels like nobody really built like the killer application yet based on transformers. Like there is a lot of interesting stuff people are building, but nobody really came up with like this killer application, except ChatGPT, of course, and then all the functions it have there. Everything is super amazing. But I think there is some gold nuggets out there.
Yeah, probably. We need like a real shift to another paradigm, maybe especially with browsers.
Yeah, definitely. I think the browser as we know it are probably doomed. Over time, it will be like pen and paper, or like typewriter,
and
or like this computers with a hole in a paper.
Yeah, maybe, or probably. Maybe the browser is not like the only place where a lot of stuff will change. So with this, basically in browsers we always had HTML code, which could be like passed to a large language model. But with this, like any kind of software could be used. For example, like Photoshop or any type of software, which also could be really interesting. And then like the whole how you can use a computer thing changes to a whole other level.
Yeah, no, definitely. We learned a lot of stuff we will probably not need later, and we can tell our grandchilds our time to push all these buttons.
We still had keyboards. Okay, so yeah, let's move over to our last topic for today. It's called Otter, and this is a multimodal model that can understand text and images. And this is really nice. They also have a website here with all the important stuff. And they also have like this, it's not a Hugging Face ground. I think it's Gradio playground. And basically what you can do right here is just upload an image. So for now, let's take just this image right here. This is just a, yeah, New York, I think, street. Let's upload this. And now we can ask questions like, is there a taxi? Let's submit. This takes a couple of seconds. And now the answer gets generated right here. So we get this yes. We can also ask things like, is there a crosswalk?
But is this like a true multimodal model, or is it like YOLO V5 GPT merged together? It's a, what was the name? Otto.
Otter, yes.
Otter.
They also have a really cool video. I will not show this for now, yeah, because you can't hear anything. But I have another image right here for like a different use case. So I've downloaded this image of a fridge with a lot of items. So let's upload this right here, and now we can ask things like, first, what is in the fridge? Let's submit. Okay, fruit. When I was testing this, there was a lot of more answers. But for example, we can also ask things now like, what can I cook with these items? Now, because we have the
Food.
power of, yeah, because we have the power of like image recognition and also the large language model, we can then basically talk to this specific image, which is also really nice. And I can see a lot of applications that could use this in a really useful way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing with this one, I didn't find the rep right now, but we should remember for future to post. Maybe I think for future, maybe what we can do is we just take a Notion document, drop all the links on it, and we can just drop it in the chat in the beginning so people easily can access it.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. I will also upload all these basically all these examples I created
I
in
will
our
mute
lab repo.
Nikolai here. Okay, there we go.
I wanted
Yeah.
actually to
Okay.
ask
I guess the thing with this one is that it is actually a model they trained, so it can do both of these things. Because I seen similar stuff, but if you take, for example, the YOLO model, and then you use the GPT-4 or something together with it, it have kind of more capabilities. But then there's two different models. So I guess the whole thing is here. Yeah. Ask what country this dude is from.
Yeah, let's see if it can spot the flag in the background. Ah, okay, that's not right. This is actually, I think, a Croatian flag. But yeah, I think this could be useful in combinations with like other stuff, and especially if you don't have access to the full version of GPT-4 yet, this can be like a good thing to use instead of this for now.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah, and that's basically it already from my side. I think there was a lot of cool stuff right here. Yeah, but Matthias, I think you weren't here when we showcased GPT Engineer.
No, I unfortunately missed that, but I have been playing around with it here last couple of hours. Actually, I run into some small problems here, but it looks really promising. I think it would work a lot better if had a little larger prompt size, because it runs into that length sometimes, and I believe in it, but I believe this could be done a lot smarter actually if it actually just start with, because now it's just kind of defining a file and what it should do. But if it also could actually initially define what's the expected input and output, because then it would actually be able to kind of test that function on the fly and see does it kind of do what it should do or not, and that way write even bigger applications.
So in this Twitter demo right here, I've actually seen that this actually then asks back these questions, and then you can clarify these questions before anything gets generated, but it never asked me for anything specific, so maybe...
Didn't ask me for anything either. It was
Yeah.
like yes or no.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I agree, like, if this could actually ask back questions and clarify things while generating, and maybe then even updating older code, yeah, this would be pretty cool.
Yeah, at least write a document where what the expected like inputs and outputs should be from these different files, and write a shorter kind of, yeah, almost write a shorter description, like exactly these different functions goes in, and we expect them to do X, Y, Z, because then it could actually write a test for it directly, and once it wrote a file, it could actually test so it works. And if you just can verify in each step that each thing actually works, or it can, if there is an error, it can rewrite and iterate on it itself, then I think it's a lot of possibilities to build big applications. Because it feels like today it doesn't really specify so much in the setups people have done how it's meant actually to communicate, and how all the different parts are supposed to stick together in the end.
Yeah, so I tried the small little snake game right here, and that worked fine. Did you actually try to maybe generate something that is not Python?
No, I made a rocket ship space flight simulator. No, yes, that didn't work at all. And then I did something that was gonna react on sound, but it was a white screen that made blue dots when I click.
Oh, okay.
So I had a little issues there. But I didn't try anything else. Did you?
No, not yet. But yeah, I think overall this is super useful for generating like this boilerplate starter stuff. Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
sure this will just improve over time. But yeah, for now, I think it's useful for some things.
Yeah, definitely. I think looking at how fast, I think technology-wise, a lot of things are there. It's kind of the how we use it or apply it. I think, but there's a lot of progress on all of this stuff right now, and it's moving so fast. I mean, the philosophy around how to get them to act in certain ways. So it's very exciting times.
Yeah, I think like we now have these really powerful, capable large language models, and now it's just the missing software around them to actually do like even more cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I recommend everyone to check out that one. It's really cool. It's a bit like auto GPT, but a bit more doing code, I guess.
All right, and that's basically it for today. So yeah, if you found this really cool, please check out LabLab so you can participate in hackathons and join the community, ask questions, and learn stuff. Yeah, we have a lot of cool hackathons coming up. You can even join the Monday AI Hackathon that starts, or it was starting today. So yeah, be sure to not miss out on this.
And when do we have our next stream?
We'll have the next stream on Friday, so stay tuned, everyone.
Okay. So every Tuesday and Friday we do stream where we talk about new technologies that have come there and in between connected to AI. Yeah, I feel there is a train picking up momentum here. Last time we had 7 people. Now we have 12 or 10 maybe right now, but we were up there sniffing at 15. So I think next time maybe we are at 20. What do you say, Laszlo?
Yes.
He agrees.
I think.
Good. All right. Thank you, Fabian. And
Okay.
bye, everyone, I
Yeah.
guess.
Thanks for watching, and yeah, we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.